All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Doing a live broadcast. It's 1:43 a.m. I'm actually trying to connect with Pakistan as I'm supposed to be doing a live sermon in Pakistan, but they are having apparently internet connection problems, or sometimes the government there turns the power off on them. So pray for the folks in Pakistan, as that's what I'm supposed to be doing this evening, is preaching a sermon to a live audience in Pakistan, but that we cannot make a connection. And so I have my Skype ready to go in case they do get and they're able to connect. But first, I'd like to do this with everybody gathering in here. I know it's very late. Okay, what is it? 1:45 a.m. But we have a breaking news, of course, coming in. A judge has ruled. First of all, there's been a lawsuit filed by the ACLU against President Donald Trump's executive action to stop all immigration coming in from these 7 countries: Sudan, Syria, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, Libya, and Somalia. This executive order, which he signed Friday afternoon, barred people from those 7 countries from entering the United States for 90 days. It also stopped all refugees from entering the United States for 120 days and indefinitely suspended the entry of refugees from the nation of Syria. But we have a lawsuit been filed by a federal judge, by the ACLU, and then the federal judge has upheld it and has made a decision to stop this executive order in its process. According to reports, the American Civil Liberties Union has announced late Saturday night that a federal court in New York has issued an emergency stay on President Trump's executive order banning immigration from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. The court's decision, which will affect people who have been detained in airports, came after the ACLU and other activist groups filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of just two Iraqis who were held at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York as a result of the order. The ACLU lawyer says, "I hope Trump enjoys losing. He's going to lose so much we're going to get sick and tired of his losing." Now, the White House has not immediately responded to the request for a comment after the court ruling. So what we have now is a federal judge overriding the President of the United States executive order and saying that it's apparently, I'm not sure what they're saying it is. You can't really say it's unconstitutional because the folks that are not being allowed into the country are not American citizens. So I'm not sure how this injunction will be able to stand up, and I'm not sure. I'm just not a lawyer. I won't know. Good to see everybody here, guys. I'm trying to connect with Pakistan right now. There's supposed to be 400 or 500 people gathered in a room in Pakistan where I'm supposed to preach live on the internet here, live to them via Skype. And I was going to let you folks join in on that. We cannot connect. I don't know what it is. We're waiting to see. I did this back in November, actually. We had a great live broadcast. Anyway, back to the Trump situation. The class action lawsuit sought an immediate injunction barring the Trump administration from blocking immigrants based on an executive order. It argues that the order violates a 1965 law that banned discrimination in immigration based on national origin. According to a copy of the court decision by Judge Ann Donnelly, it will stop officials from removing individuals with approved refugee applications. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. There's this Donald Trump is going to find out that there is a very liberal court, and that many of the judges on the federal court in many different areas are liberal and are not going to go along with every executive order that he decides. This will probably wind up in the Supreme Court. Trump is saying that it is not based on religion, it's based on the danger of these 7 nations. And I can tell you that Sudan is the Sudan and South Sudan are really out of control. There's not a lot of scrutiny over who's there, and terrorists are roaming freely there, and rebels. In Syria, that's a nightmare. Unfortunately, it is a horrific nightmare. And Christians have been beheaded and murdered and executed and raped, and it's been horrific what's been going on in Syria. And you can understand why the president would not want to do extreme vetting to protect the citizens of the United States. We've already had Syrian immigrants commit numerous crimes, not only in this country, but all over Europe. And so we know this is a very serious situation. Yemen is completely out of control. It's had 2 coups of its government in the last 5 years under the Obama administration's unbelievable, the Obama administration's Arab Spring, which is nothing more than an absolute Middle East madness, a mess. And then Iran, they have sworn to annihilate Israel, to blow them off the face of the map. And their end-time eschatology and ideology is absolutely insane. And you cannot, and we will not, you have to protect the United States from Iran in some way. Iraq is completely out of control. ISIS was formed there, and that's because the United States went into Iraq, and then when they left, when Obama pulled them out 14 months early, we left no military presence. Every country that we've ever went to war with, when we're done, we leave a military presence. We left bases in Germany, they're still there. We have a base in South Korea, it's still there. We have a couple bases in Japan, they are still there. I mean, are you serious? You have to leave a military presence after being in a conflict. And we didn't do that with Iraq. Instead, we left our military hardware laying there. ISIS was formed, got the Toyota trucks and got all the Humvees, rockets, rocket launchers, thousands of rifles and ammunition, and $400 million in a bank in Mosul. Just absolutely insane. So we have Sudan, Syria, Yemen out of control, Iran, Iraq, and then Libya. Nobody knows who's in charge in Libya right now. There's 3 different groups that say they are the official government of Libya after the fall of Muammar Gaddafi and the Obama administration's Arab Spring. And then there's Somalia, which is overrun with radical Islamic group called Al-Shabaab. All right. And then, of course, the Somali pirates. And it just gets uglier every time you turn around. There's a disaster there. But going back to Iran, remember, Iran is not only anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic, death to Israel, death to America, but the Iranians have also the largest sponsors of terrorism in the world. They are the ones that fund Hamas in Gaza. They fund Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. They fund the Houthi rebels in Yemen. They are currently in Syria right now. And, they're just, you're dealing with danger here. So this is where we're at, folks. Unfortunately, we have a very tense situation now in the United States. The President of the United States has filed an executive order, and it is being an injunction by a federal judge has been applied to try to reverse the executive order of the president. I'm not sure that a federal judge has the authority to overthrow a presidential executive order. I don't even think they have that authority. But we'll wait and see how this plays out. The lawsuit will have to be taken to the Supreme Court at some point. It's really sad, folks. It's very, very sad. It is very sad what's taking place in the world right now. And the dangers, you have to understand, the New World Order was so close. The beast was so close to taking over the world. They were on the brink of it. And the election was not supposed to turn out the way it did. And the New World Order did not see Britain Brexiting out of the EU, and they didn't see Trump winning the election in America. These two moves has completely messed up the entire plan of the New World Order. And so now there's going to be some scratching and clawing to try to get back in position. And this could be a challenge between Trump and the federal courts. And we just don't know how that will pan out. But the danger is very, very dangerous right now. It's very dangerous that if the rule of law, that if a presidential executive order is not followed, then we could have a showdown and a throwdown, and we don't want it. We need to really pray, folks. It was a temporary ban from these 7 nations because of the threat of terrorism from those 7 nations are extremely high. And the president's job is to defend and to protect the Constitution of the United States. So we need to pray for everyone. We got to pray for everyone in this. So what Pastor Begley is trying to say is this: we have to have cooler heads to prevail in this from all sides. We do not want a breakdown in the rule of law in the United States of America. For if there's a breakdown in the United States of the rule of law, then we will have potential for anarchy and chaos, not only here, but around the world. So pray one for another. I truly believe Trump has the authority to make an executive order. Especially, this is not unreasonable. This is not based on religion. This is based on national security. I mean, if you can't move the embassy, think about this a minute. Listen to me very closely. Everybody look at me. Just lay everything aside. Lay every bit of your feelings and emotions aside. If the United States cannot move its own embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem for 22 years, based on executive orders by the presidents of the United States, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, 22 consecutive years, every 6 months having to sign a suspension to the moving of our own embassy for 6 months based on national security. If we can't even move our own embassy in our number one ally of the Middle East in their nation from one city to the other, after our Congress has already passed it, and that's called national security. If the United States has no ability to, if a president can do that, then you can't tell me a president doesn't have the right to defend the country and to prevent who's coming into the country without extreme vetting to be sure to keep the citizens of this nation safe. So, folks, we are living in a very crazy world. Reverend asked Paul, is there any, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, would you put that back then again, Reverend Evangelist? You just made a comment. I wanted to read it, but it got by me. If you can put that back in there again in the chat room real fast. So we have to stand with the President of the United States in this. These silly lawsuits cannot be, and federal judges cannot be overriding presidential executive orders. You cannot have that. You can't have that, okay? Especially when they are, you're dealing with protecting our citizens, okay? I absolutely know I'm right. Thank you so much. I absolutely know I'm right. So be in prayer, folks. Anyway, that one got away. Something about the RFID chip, but I'll have to look at that again. Anyway, folks, that's where we're at right now. Again, you can't have federal judges, loose cannon federal judges like Ann Donnelly, trying to override presidential executive orders based on what? The president has got the right and actually the fiduciary responsibility to protect the citizens of this country. It supersedes anybody from any other nation. You cannot stop a president from defending his own country. If he signs an executive order based on national security, which is what Trump has done, a temporary ban, not permanent, and implements extreme vetting to make sure we're safe, you cannot challenge that. That's crazy. You have to allow, and if these other presidents, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama, if they can prevent the moving of our own embassy just 45 minutes away from one city to another in Israel, and nobody challenges that, nobody can, because the executive order makes sense. If that's what the president wants to do, then you cannot stop a president from protecting the United States of America. So, folks, what you're really witnessing, we need to be very clear of this. What you're witnessing is a loose cannon federal judge and the ACLU and the left-wing liberal section of this nation. The New World Order is clawing to try to regain power, to try to supersede the authority of the Constitution of the United States. And this is very dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. So we need to pray we really need to pray for the United States of America, and that because it does affect the rest of the world. It really does. Well, anyway, thank you guys for dropping in. God bless you. I was supposed to do a live message in Pakistan, but we cannot get the connection. It's just not there. I don't know if they've shut their power off or their internet off. Anything can happen. Pray for our orphanage in Pakistan that we support there, and just pray for them because they're up against a ton of persecution there. They are persecuted. Christians are persecuted in Pakistan severely, and so we really need to pray for them. All right, guys. Good night, everyone. I'm going to go back to get some rest. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. God bless all of you. Thank you guys for dropping in. I really want to say to everybody at YouTube Live, I see Holly and Humble Spirit and Donna and Alexis and Dean, Elo, all of you guys that have dropped in. God bless all of you. Thank you guys for dropping in. And I'll see you guys, I guess, later today. We're going to do a live church service from our home church this morning. And then again, Sunday Night Live will be beginning tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern with Sunday Night Live. Good night, everybody. We love all you guys. God bless you guys. Are you serious?